Let me have the parties identified.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, along with Pamela Pierce.
Dana Clift Williams, excuse me, Your Honor. I'm the attorney for Joni Kelly, and I know that she's here. It's just she's been moving around in the virtual courtroom. I see her. It says Joni's iPhone.
Okay.
Cynthia Terso on behalf of Alicia Walker for the children, or I'm sorry, the child.
Okay.
Judge, it just dawned on me, I don't see Mr. Bollinger on the screen. He's the father's attorney.
Right. I don't either, and I'm not sure what the status of his representation going forward was. I don't know what their agreement was. Okay, tell me how the parents are doing in services. Just as background on this case, this started as a removal. We had a contested adversary hearing. The court ordered in order to participate in Texas Family First case instead. So tell me how the parents are doing in this first part of the case.
We started with an assessment on the 14th. The St. Francis worker and I both went out to meet the family. We were able to talk with both Joni and Christopher. We met the baby. They are both in agreement with the services that were discussed, which was, of course, the center treatment program. They do understand that they will be drug testing. There was some confusion on that, but they do understand they will be drug testing. They will be completing OSAR assessments to see which program they might need to do, whether drug education or what they need to do there. The St. Francis worker and I are planning on meeting with the parents this afternoon or after court today to get the family plan signed and get the referrals going.
Okay. Very good. We have our family center treatment folks here. Ms. Cliff Williams, anything on behalf of Ms. Lee?
Not that I know of, unless she wants to voice something herself. Joni, do you have any questions or any concerns?
I do not.
All right, and I think that we have Mr. Kelly on with us now. Mr. Bollinger, do you have anything to add on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I thought this started at 9. I just got here.
Right, it started at 9.
Did they testify at all? I didn't hear whoever went before. I just got on.
Okay, this is not a contested hearing in any way. I just simply asked the department how the parents are doing in services so far, and they gave me a report that they got started with an assessment for the parents, that they have met with them and talked about drug testing and talked about all of that. So It's very early on in the case. I understand we just had the first hearing in the case not too long ago, but I wanted to make sure that we got off to a good start and got us started in services.
Yes, so, and as long as they're thinking that we're in good standing, then we have zero problems. I just didn't know what she said, and sometimes with this guy, what they say is problematic. So yes, if everybody's happy, we have nothing to add. We went through the service and court report with him yesterday in detail. We don't have anything to add.
Okay, and it also sounds like Ms. Pierce and also the Family Center treatment folks have a meeting set up with the parents after this hearing to make sure that we're all on the same page about what that Family Center treatment program
when is that supposed to be happening? Because I'm hearing from Mr. Kelly that he's not aware of when he's supposed to meet with them.
I believe that Abby reached out to them and last week, but they reported they had COVID. So we were going to be checking to make sure everybody was good before we come out and meet with them today.
Okay. My understanding from the client is that he is now testing clean, but she may be still testing positive. I don't know how that affects you guys. And I did have one question, Judge, if you don't mind. I'm not going to be aggressive this time, I promise. A number of places in here in the family plan, there's a little confusion. He's supposed to get with this, is it Gravick or Gatlin? It's a G name.
Richard Gatlin.
Gatlin. And he's confused as to whether he's supposed to get in touch with that guy or y'all are going to arrange that because he doesn't have a clue.
I'm going to be bringing out the family plan today. I'll be sending the referral to Mr. Gatlin, and then he'll be able to contact Mr. Gatlin to schedule when is convenient for him.
Thank you. We would have no other questions, Judge. Sorry.
Okay. Anything else? Ms. Walker, any concerns with Jay Lee? Ms. Terso?
I do not have any concerns at this time, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, I just heard from the Family Center treatment worker. Apparently, she was affected by the fires and had to evacuate. She's not going to be able to meet today. So we'll probably schedule for later this week.
Okay. Understandable. Okay. Hopefully, some of these services will get in place, and the next hearing will be March the 27th at 9. And certainly the next hearing, I'm going to want to hear from parents about what we've gotten started on and what we're learning. So I certainly want to make sure that we get these parents involved in their services. Right.
And I would like to add that I was required to get a GED. I talked to Ash the other day, and I will be going to Ash Monday and Tuesday nights for my diploma, and I'll be getting that in June.
Great.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Okay. Anything else for the Kelly?
I think we have anything else, Your Honor?
I believe that's it, Your Honor. I'm just congratulate my client for being proactive in this matter.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt the job.
March 27th at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Maybe be excused.
Thank you. Parties identified.
Thank you.
Dropping Jim Tyree for the department along with Abigail Cecilia.
Yolanda Eveling on behalf of the mother, and we were both present and ready. She is shown under iPhone.
Cynthia Terso on behalf of Mr. Rangel. He is present in the virtual courtroom today.
Jim Shaw, attorney ad litem.
What is the status of service on Ms. Rodriguez?
Your Honor, she was served on January 19th.
And Mr. Rangel?
He was served on January 12th.
Okay. Tell me about the children. Where are they currently placed?
CJ and Isabella are placed in an emergency shelter in Amarillo, and the younger two children are placed in a foster home in Conroe. The older two kids are in school. Isabella Elementary, she's in kindergarten. She's doing good. She just had her first art assessment. And CJ is going to city, and he's in preschool. There's no health concerns for any of the children. All four of the children previously had head lice, and right now none of the children have head lice. And they're having weekly visits with each other and then weekly visits with mom. The two that are in Amarillo are having them face to face, and then the two little ones are having them on Zoom.
And yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Okay. All right. Tell me about placement options. Do we have any home studies pending?
We had one that was denied due to background. Mom said that she has a second person she wants us to run, but I have not been given any information about that second person yet.
Okay. Miss Eveline, Miss Walker, y'all let me know if we need a placement hearing.
We will, Your Honor. It had less to do with Ms. Hernandez than it did with someone else in the home.
Yeah.
Is that person still in the home?
As far as I know, we can check and see if that situation has changed, but I don't know that it has.
Okay. So I need to set this for a placement hearing next month?
I don't believe so at this time. I'll advise the court if we do.
Okay. All right. We have grandparents in the courtroom. Have we considered placement with the grandparents?
The paternal grandparents or the maternal grandparents?
Paternal.
I was told from investigations they did not want to be placement, but if they want to, we can do a home study.
Okay. I'll let y'all explore that later. All right, Mr. Shaw, any concerns with the children? Mr. Shaw's visiting with the grandparents. Okay, Ms. Eveline, does your client have any concerns regarding the children?
I don't believe she does, Your Honor. Rebecca, do you have any concerns about how they're being cared for?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Rangel, do you have any concerns regarding the children? You have to unmute yourself.
Let's see. Can you hear us?
No.
Okay, there goes.
Thank you. All right, tell me about mom's plan of service. What are we asking Ms. Rodriguez to do in this case in order to get her children returned?
We're asking her to refrain from any criminal activity, obtain a safe environment, obtain employment, 12 hours of parenting classes, supervise visits with the children, have a drug-free lifestyle, and she did take a drug test on 1/25, it was negative. She also took one on 2/13, it was negative, but she did have a positive positive hair on 1/28/24. We are asking
Positive for what?
for meth on the hair.
Okay. Go ahead.
We are asking her to complete an OSAR, and we are asking her to participate in individual therapy, which she is in, and then we're asking her to meet with a permanency specialist monthly, which she is doing.
Okay. Any other services that Ms. Rodriguez has started?
She has gotten employment. I just haven't gotten verification yet because she just started. And then as far as visitations going, she has not missed a single visit. And she's doing well on those visits with those kids.
Great. How are we accommodating the visits, particularly with the kids that are out of town?
With the little ones, we're doing them on Zoom. And with the older two children, she's seeing them weekly.
Great.
They're coming to where mom lives for a weekly visit.
Okay. Very good. Ms. Eveline, any issues with Ms. Rodriguez's plan of service?
No, Your Honor, we had worked that out earlier. As she said, she did just recently get a job, so that's a very positive thing. She has also started parenting classes. And I'm wondering if there is any effort being made to try to get the 4 children together, or at least get the 2 younger ones back closer to home.
I think there's an open placement request for the 4 together. The 2 that are in Amarillo, they're in that emergency shelter, but they are working to get them on the actual campus since that shelter is not a long-term placement. But there is an open request to have them 4 placed together. We just haven't heard anything back on that yet.
Thank you.
Okay. Tell me about Mr. Rangel's plan of service.
We're asking him to establish paternity with the child. We're asking him to participate in any services that the facility would offer, and then we're asking him to complete parenting packets. He has been provided 2 parenting packets.
Okay, my notes indicate that he signed AOPs on the older 3 and ordered a paternity test as to Brooklyn. Have we set that up for him?
I believe it was done on the 23rd for Brooklyn on her part. I'm not sure if the father's been tested yet for the DNA test.
Okay. Ms. Terso, tell me about your client. First of all, is there anything about that plan of service that you're not in agreement with?
No, Your Honor. I think that plan of service is reasonable. And I do want to applaud Abigail Cecilia for making sure that he does have some packets with him. She did let us know that over email a couple of days ago. So I do appreciate that. I know it's always difficult when parents are not out of incarceration at that time. No concerns with that plan of service at this time.
Okay. Very good. Ms. Terso, do you have any information regarding your client's incarceration? Is he awaiting trial? Is he already been to trial? And tell me, what's the situation with your client?
I don't have that information available to me at this exact moment, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Rangel, can you unmute yourself again? Mr. Rangel, what are your charges?
DUI.
Okay, have you been to trial? Are you awaiting trial? Do you have a trial date? What's the story?
I'm just waiting for a trial.
Okay. All right, well, certainly if you are released at any point, you need to call your caseworker right away and your attorney right away and get started in services and set up visits and all of that, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I will approve both plans of service for each parent. Let's work on placement. We certainly don't want kids separated. We can find certainly don't want kids in foster care either. If we can find a relative or a friend, let's see what we can do to find some options for these kids. Get them closer to home and get them together, and hopefully with a relative.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, and I have to apologize. That is the one folder I apparently got here without, and so I cannot remember who the caseworker is on this one.
Cristóbal Salinas.
Okay.
Okay,
Abigail
Ms.
Cecilia.
Terso, I have that Ms. Walker represents Ms. Allegria, in this case, the mother.
Abigail Cecilia.
Mr.
Yes,
Shaw
Your Honor.
represents Mr. Shaw represents Mr. And I don't know if it's Tafoya or Tafoya. But he represents Dad in the case.
Yolanda Evelyn for the children.
Carrie Peoples, CASA, and Judge, I know there's a lot of people on here. I'm not seeing CASA advocate Glenda Hicks. I think she may be in the waiting room.
I don't have anybody in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
And Mr. Shaw is here. He's just helping the grandparents in the previous case.
He was out in the hall with them.
Right. Okay, tell me about these children. Where are they currently placed, Mr. Salinas?
The children are currently placed with paternal grandmother here in Plainview, Texas. All four of them, sibling group.
Okay, that's where they were at the adversary hearing, and she is a joint managing conservator. Is that right?
That is correct.
Mr. Tyree, remind me, is she still a joint managing conservator, or does the department have temporary managing conservator?
Your Honor, we have temporary managing conservatorship, but sole temporary managing conservatorship.
The department does.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Do we have a home study pending on the grandmother?
Yes, Your Honor. Home studies is pending.
Okay. Tell me about the children. How are they doing?
The children, it's Leia, Nayeli, Severo, and Alibel. They're doing good at placement with grandma. They are happy to be there. They got plenty of food, plenty of clothes, and they're going to school. And Alea, first of all, she had some problems with her health regarding a heart murmur, and she scheduled an appointment on the 22nd of April with the cardiologist in Lubbock. And she was also having some concerns with placement with her education, with grades. Grades are good. I checked her grades, and she's got pretty much an 80 average on her school. So she's improved a lot since then. Yeah, no medications on Alea, and she's doing good at home. Anna Ellie is good, happy, no safety concerns, no health issues, not taking medications. She loves to play with dolls, likes to read, likes to color. Severo is good, happy, no concerns with his safety. He's healthy, no medications. They've already had their dental appointments, and no concerns at school. He loves to play with Legos. He loves dinosaurs. Alabelle is good, happy, content, good on her health, no medications. She's not in school yet. She just loves to play with dolls, and she's doing well in placement, Your Honor. All four of them are doing good.
All right. Perfect. Miss Evelyn, any concerns regarding the children?
No, Your Honor, nothing that hasn't already been reported.
All right. Ms. Terso, anything on behalf of Miss Allegria regarding the children?
No, Your Honor, I don't have anything. I did see her on the Zoom hearing, so I don't know if she has any concerns that she'd like to voice.
Miss Allegria, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any concerns regarding the children?
No, not right now. They're in a good place.
Good. Mr. Tyree, do we have Miss Allegria served?
Your Honor, I believe we do, and I apologize
you
that
don't have-
that information's at my office, so.
That's okay. Sorry about that. Mr. Shaw, any concerns on behalf of Mr. Tafoya regarding the children?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, Miss Allegria, do I say, is it Tafala or Tafoya?
Is it Tafoya?
Okay. All right, Mr. Salinas, what are we asking Miss Allegria to do in this case in order to get her children returned? What is on
Your
her
Honor,
plan of service?
we're asking for her to maintain legal income for a minimum of 6 months, submit to random drug testing, individual counseling, family counseling, drug and alcohol assessment, if positive for drug use, of course, maintain a drug-free lifestyle, participate in and supervise its visitation with their children, face-to-face contact with the department monthly, maintain a safe and stable housing, refrain from any criminal activities, participate in complete 12 hours of parenting classes, participate in WIN group, which is Women Towards Independence Now, and participate in psychological evaluation, follow recommendations. And Your Honor, Ms. Allegria is also voluntarily admitting herself to inpatient treatment. She's working on that as we speak, and we're looking at probably tomorrow when she can go to inpatient treatment.
Good. All right, Ms. Walker or Ms. Terso, any concerns regarding the plan of service for your client?
No, Your Honor, not at this time. I did also want to add that she does have a hearing for a protective order coming up this week. So she is taking steps to work on that. I'd also like to share that she started that process on her own with the county, and then we have stepped in to assist her with getting that protective order.
Okay. Very good. I will approve the plan of service for Ms. Allegria. Certainly want to encourage you, ma'am, to get that inpatient drug treatment going right away. That's a great way to start the case. All right. What about Mr. Tafoya? What are we asking Mr. Tafoya to do in this case?
Your Honor, Mr. Tafoya is currently in custody. He is agreed to his family plan of service and for him to participate in any services programs while incarcerated. He's placed his name to sign up for anger management, life skills, and any substance abuse classes that are being offered to him while he's in custody.
Okay. Mr. Shaw, are you aware of what his situation is as far as his charges and everything?
The Lubbock cases show that does not have a hearing set. It just shows that he had a bond surrender. And I'm not aware of any other court dates at this point. No.
Mr. Salinas, have you had contact with Mr. Tafoya?
Yes, Your Honor. He also has a pending charge here in Hill County. It's for possession of controlled substance. It's a state jail felony charge. He's already gone to, he had a pre-trial hearing on the 20th of this month. And I haven't received any information as to when the next hearing will be.
Okay. Mr. Shaw, any issues with the plan of service?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I will approve the plan of service for Mr. Tafoya as well. All right, Ms. Rosales, do you have any concerns regarding the children?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
All right, are you getting visits with the children? Or actually, they're with you?
They're with me, yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you agree that Alea is improving in school and doing well now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else on the Tafoya case?
Do we have anything else, Your Honor?
Okay, I'm going to set this for an initial permanency hearing June the 26th at 9 a.m.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department along with Pamela Pierce.
Jana Clift Williams, I'm the attorney for the respondent mother, Nicole Giri, and she is present, Your Honor.
Cynthia Terso for Ms. Walker, attorney ad litem for the children.
Okay, tell me about Ms. Aguirre's participation in services as well.
She's actually doing very well as far as her attending with the Family Center Treatment Program. We did have some issues pop up this month. There were some concerns about some people that she was hanging out with. I addressed that with her, let her know that, you know, if you're running around with people who are suspected drug users or drug dealers, that you'll be seen in that light. She has ended those relationships. There was another instance where she had gone out for the evening and left the kids. She's staying with her dad, and so the kids were with her dad. One of the kids was having a seizure, and he tried to reach her, and she didn't respond right away, but she did come home before he had to call an ambulance or anything. I did meet with her regarding that and explained that she could not, you know, her dad is not just a built-in babysitter, and that she needs to be home when her kids are home. And that has not, there's not been any issues in that area since we addressed it. She continues to test negative. She is attending all of her support group meetings. She's now working with a recovery coach one-on-one. She really seems to enjoy that and responds well to that. She does not do as well with online groups. So I think getting her in with people in person has really helped her We've sent her for an alcohol test. And if that comes back good, then we're going to be looking at lifting her safety plan.
Okay. Very good. Is our family center treatment folk, are they here for this case? Okay. Tell me how she is doing with the family center treatment program.
She's been doing really well. She's been working to step up and do intentional check-ins with her children. So making those times a little bit more guided by her than by us. Making sure that she's being in touch with their emotions and what's happening with them. So that's been really good.
Okay. What phase would you say she's in?
She's in phase 3 right now, which is where they start to take the ownership of themselves.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. We're in the 5th month, actually we're the 5th hearing. So we should be moving along. In fact, Mr. Tyree, I think we may need an extension order if we need further hearings in the case, because we're past the 6 months at this point.
Yes, ma'am. I think I had already, I guess, sort of on my own accord, but put an extension where the dismissal date's August 10th, 2024. That was in the last order, Judge.
Okay, good.
I think we had maybe gone past, or maybe between then and now we ran out of time. So.
Right. All right, Ms. Giri, can you unmute yourself while she's doing that? Do we have any contact with the father?
I'm sorry. No, ma'am.
Okay, so he is not working services in the case.
No, he's not.
Okay. Ms. Giri, tell me what you're learning.
I learned how to communicate better with my children. I came a long ways on that, actually. Had to have self-control over myself. Pick wiser friends. I don't know, just a lot of self-control. How to handle my situations different with my kids, always yelling at them or raising my voice. I've learned to do a little one-on-one with them and, communicate at their level.
Okay. Is there anything else that the department can be providing that might help you, ma'am?
No, like Pamela said, getting me into the one-on-one, I really, really enjoy that. I can talk to her on my own time. I started getting into more of the classes here in Plainview. I got more resources. Got another job. So yeah, I'm coming along.
In Your Honor, I would add that Mr. Holloway did file a petition for divorce on behalf of the father. They were waiting on some DNA testing. I believe that there was an agreement that the father would have supervised visitation with the children. We're just waiting on that DNA test before we work through some of the orders.
Yes, ma'am. We should have those hopefully by today. I'm on my way to Lubbock after court, so hopefully we'll have them by today and we'll move forward from there.
All right. Well, Dad was originally part of the case, so I certainly want the department involved in the negotiations about what his visitation needs to look like. If he's not participating in any services and not addressing the issues in his life, we need to be involved. The department needs to be involved in what that visitation looks like for Dad. Okay. Ms. Terso, any concerns regarding the children?
None at this time, Judge. We absolutely support the divorce. So there's some sort of finality to everything. But no concerns at this time, aside from what's already been discussed.
All right, Ms. Cliff-Williams, anything to add on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, I just want to say I'm very proud of her. She's working through her services. She did inpatient. She followed up on getting some outpatient treatment on her own. And I just think she's doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Way to go, Ms. Giri.
Thank you.
All right. The next compliance review hearing will be March the 27th at 9 a.m. At that point, we should be looking at maybe a dismissal next month. We need to really hone in on what the issues continue to be and how to get them resolved.
And why is this lasting so long, like the court part? Like what's holding back on you?
I'll let you visit with your attorneys and your workers about that.
Okay.
But like I said, we should be looking at a dismissal next month. And if we're not ready to dismiss next month, we really need to figure out why.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all. We'll be adjourned.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, along with Pamela Pierce, who's here in place of Chelsea Vasquez today.
Janet Clift Williams, I'm the attorney ad litem for the children.
Jim Shaw representing the father.
All right, tell me how Mr. Bentle is doing in services this month.
He has completed 5 of his 13 parenting sessions with Fatherhood Fire. He has been in counseling with Richard Gatlin, and Mr. Gatlin actually said that he believes Bobby has done well enough to complete the counseling there. He has been testing negative on his drug tests. Chelsea was going to have him have a UA coming up, and if that goes well, they're going to be looking at maybe doing something a little different with the safety plan. Other than that, because of that, he seems to be doing very well.
Okay, very good. Mr. Shaw, anything on behalf of Mr. Bentle?
No, Your Honor, he's fully complying with the services, so we're on our way.
Mr. Bentle,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell me what you're learning in these services?
Just to be a better parent to my kids. The classes are actually, they've helped me a lot. Half the stuff that I've learned in these classes is I've never even thought about doing with my kids, and, spending more time with my kids, and, me doing what I used to do is not good for my kids, or, time with my kids, So I just I've taken all this in a positive manner. I've never looked at it as a negative, because really the outcome is going to be a lot better for me. So I've actually came a long way from where I began.
Okay, very good. I'm proud of you, Mr. Bentle. That's the point, is to use the services and make changes for you and your family, so that your kids are in a better position.
Yes, ma'am. And then Chelsea did let me know I do have that UA tomorrow. She did let me know that yesterday.
Okay, are you going to be clean?
Yes, ma'am. I will be doing that tomorrow.
Okay. All right, very good. I will find Mr. Bentle is fully participating in his services. Good job, Mr. Bentle.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, I will set your next review hearing March the 27th at 9 a.m. Anything else? Ms. Cliff Williams, any concerns regarding the children?
No, Your Honor, the children are all doing very well. They're all healthy. I do know that the 2 youngest children do have some neurological issues, but the placement is addressing those. They've taken them to the doctor, but they were headed to the circus yesterday. So they're happy and seemingly healthy, with a few issues that can't be, treated with medicine.
And I have been participating in that as well. I am, every time they've called or asked me to bring them medicine, they called me the other day at like 2 in the morning and asked me to bring them medicine. I got up and actually did that, because they didn't have any for the children itself. So I actually got up and did that. So whatever they've asked me to do for my kids, I have done it.
Very good. Does the department agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, we'll see you next month, March 27th at 9 a.m. Just encourage you to continue your progress, Mr. Bentle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, again here with Pamela Pierce, who's substituting for Chelsea Vasquez today.
Lindsay Murray on behalf of the mother.
Cynthia Terso, attorney ad litem for the children.
All right, Ms. Pierce, tell me how Ms. Vasquez is doing in services this month.
There seems to have been some trouble with her being able to meet with the Family Center treatment worker. I do believe that they're working on sorting all of that out. Ms. Vasquez did do an oral drug test on February 15th. That was positive for meth. I spoke with her this morning and explained that the department's position is she will need to go inpatient treatment or we will need her to move out of the home, and her visits will be supervised at the office. I sent her to inpatient programs that she can reach out to see if they can get her in. She said she was going to speak with the grandmother who's supervising her right now to see if she would be able to leave the kids there for the 30 days to go to inpatient treatment, and then she was going to get back with us.
Ms. Murray?
Your Honor, I just got that message. I spoke with my client yesterday. She had told me that she was trying to work her services. She had a death in the family, and she had informed everybody about that. That's why she couldn't meet. But I haven't had the opportunity to speak with her about these drug test results at this time, but I guess I'm encouraged that she's willing to go to inpatient.
Ms. Terso, any concerns regarding the children?
Obviously, we're a little saddened to see the positive test, but like Ms. Murray stated, we're encouraged that mom does want to go to inpatient, and we're hopeful that the child can remain with grandmother so that there's some consistency and the routine is not as disrupted.
Okay. Mr. Tyree, tell me what the department plans to do as far as the family-centered treatment program. I know this is a program that only works if the parent is in the home with the children. So are we backburnering that for now? Are we non-suiting that part of the case? What is the plan?
Your Honor, quite frankly, I hadn't discussed that with my client, but I guess I'll find out. I guess maybe, hopefully we could just put it on the back burner till she gets some treatment done and gets out of that successfully, but I'll find out for sure what we need to do.
Okay.
With that, I also wouldn't want to hold up a space for somebody that could benefit from it.
Right.
We have been able to pause it for those 30 days in the past, so I think we would be able to do that on this one as well.
Okay. Yeah, let's visit about all of that. And the Texas Family First program is a really, really fabulous program, and it's limited in terms of spots available for families. So I agree, Mr. Tyree, if certainly if we think that a 30-day inpatient treatment program will get us back on track, I'm okay with pausing it for a month. If it's going to be more substantial than that, let's think about another plan.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will set another compliance review hearing March the 27th at 9 a.m.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department along with Pamela Pierce.
Good morning. Cynthia Terso for Ms. Armstrong, the mother.
Jim Shaw representing the father.
Linda Devlin for the children.
Okay. Tell me how the parents are doing in services this month.
Zoe has completed her drug program. She is now working on some parenting classes. Her daughter Clementine is a very smart little girl, but she's also a little headstrong, and Zoe was just, wanting some help with, how to address those behaviors. I have actually watched Zoe with her daughter, and she does gentle parenting, and she does get through to Clementine, but Clementine is still an only child and likes to rule everything in the household. So she is working on that. She has been in her counseling with Richard Gatlin. That is going very well. He reports that she's working through some self-esteem, some depression, different things since her and Isaiah are no longer together. Again, Isaiah is not the father of Clementine. He has not been in contact with me since he got out of the hospital. He has not been in contact with Zoe, as far as she has told me, in quite a while. And she knows that he's not allowed back in her home. She is in compliance with her medication, and she keeps in contact with her Central Plains caseworker.
Okay. Are there any services that Ms. Armstrong needs to be participating in right now that she's not?
No, ma'am. She's been extremely compliant with everything we've asked of her.
Is she testing clean? I might have missed that.
Oh, yes, she is. I did not say that, but yes, she has been testing clean. Yes, ma'am.
Good.
We were able to completely lift the safety plan, and we're looking for her to be able to have. She's been staying with her grandmother, which is where Clementine has been, and we're going to be looking at them being able to go home here pretty quick.
All right, very good. Last month we were here, Miss Armstrong was still looking for work. Did we find a job?
She actually has started school. She did try finding jobs. She doesn't drive, so there's been some issues with that. And of course, with her work schedule not being, evenings and weekends kind of thing. So she has actually started going to school for, I believe it was digital photography or something along those lines. She can probably explain it better than I can, but yeah, she started school.
Okay, Miss Armstrong, you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what you're learning in these services.
How to communicate with my daughter a little bit more. As she had said, the gentle parenting was something that I had always wanted to do. But with the right communication skills, it's a lot easier to be able to get through to her rather than just like bottling it up and exploding when she's just like, mom, 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 So being able to communicate a little bit more with her is helped a lot. I've been looking for work. Unfortunately, they'll tell me we're going in a different direction, and then they'll post on Indeed for the same exact thing that I just applied for. They're still looking for those associates. So I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'll just go to school. So I've enrolled at Full Sail University for digital cinematography, and I start on Monday. And hopefully I'll be able to get something done for not just my daughter, but also for me, because I've kind of come to the conclusion that I kind of deserve peace too at some point. So it's a lot of work, but daughter has always been worth it.
Okay. Miss Evelyn, any concerns with Clementine?
I believe mom is making progress, and that's a very positive thing.
Right. Mr. Tyree, is it the department's plan to non-suit Mr. Ortega out of this case? So we can...
Yes, ma'am. I was going to say, I think last month we were just kind of wanting to make sure he was not going to be involved anymore, and it appears that's the case. So we will go ahead and file a non-suit on him.
Okay. And I will release Mr. Shaw from representing him. Okay. Before I do that, though, Mr. Shaw, anything on behalf of Mr. Ortega?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. I will set another review hearing for Ms. Armstrong, March the 27th at 9. That will be our 6th compliance review hearing, so we should be looking to see if we're not ready to dismiss next month, we need to figure out why and really hone in on what the remaining issues are. Okay, March 27th at 9 a.m. Have the parties identified? Thank y'all.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, along with Pamela Pierce, who's here today on this case again in place of Chelsea Vasquez.
Sarah Hudman, attorney for Angelica, present ready, and she's in the virtual courtroom.
Cynthia Terso, attorney for the child.
Okay, tell me how the parents are doing in services this month.
Angelica is doing fantastic. She even went for a hair strand drug test that was negative for all substances. She is working through dealing with anxiety by breathing, taking deep breaths and working through that. She has been meeting with her family center treatment worker, and they have reported that she is doing fantastic as well.
Okay, does the department have any concerns with Jasper?
I'm not sure. He is in daycare at WeCare, and there have been no concerns with him either.
All right, very good. Ms. Martinez, tell me what you're learning in your services.
Okay, well, phase 2, it was more like life skills that Abby was helping me with. So more like implementing self-care. We did some cooking things. She's helped me with like sending me recipes and stuff. Helped me move, organize my own house, stuff like that. Money management. And then now we're in phase 3, which is like me the things that I'm wanting. So I'm hoping to like learn healthier habits, developing new hobbies, finding things to do with both of my kids since I see my other son as well. Just finding new activities for them, communicating better with my family and stuff like that. She's also helped me with like personal things. Like we have appointments for the IRS to go get my help with my identity, stuff like that situated. She's helped me apply for food stamps, and I did get approved. So just little things like that.
Doesn't sound like those are little things. That's awesome.
They're big things, yeah, but yeah. For sure, they're really big things to me. I've accomplished a lot.
That's very good. St. Francis Family Center treatment worker here.
She is not, Your Honor. She was affected by the fires last night. However, I am her supervisor, and she did text me this morning, and she wanted to share how amazing Angelica is doing. She's applying for 2 jobs. She has been dealing with her stolen identity this entire time, and that has made it specifically and uniquely difficult for her. She's now currently in her own apartment. She is working very hard to take care of herself and her kids. She's been cooperative. She typically meets with Abby between 7 and 8 in the morning or on her lunch breaks because she's working during the day, but she's always making time to make sure she's a part of the program. We are incredibly proud of her and her progress.
Thank you.
Right, very good. Ms. Hudman, anything to add on behalf of Ms. Martinez?
No, Judge, I think she said it all pretty well for herself. Very proud.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Walker, any concerns regarding Jasper?
Your Honor, we don't have any
concerns.
It's okay. We're both here today. We don't have any concerns with Jasper today. I'm glad to hear that he's doing well, and I'm very proud of Mom's progress. I also saw in the status report that her visits are transitioning to unsupervised, which is very exciting to hear too, that things are moving in a positive direction.
Thank you.
All right. What about Mr. Alcala? Is he participating?
No, ma'am. We have not been able to have contact with him.
Okay, I have Ms. Hudman assigned to Mr. Alcala as well. Mr. Tyree, is it the department's plan to non-suit as to Mr. Alcala?
Judge, it sounds like he's kind of out of the picture right now, so I guess I'm a little leery if in case he happened to show back up, so we just maybe have a little bit more ability to protect the children and help Ms. Martinez with that. But so I may visit with my client and see how we want to proceed with that. Obviously,
Okay.
we're not making much difference with him, so.
Right, and I have in my notes that at least as of November 22nd, the department has not had contact with the father. So we're going on 4 months now. So let me know next month. We will have another review hearing March the 27th at 9. We have the parties identified. Anything else?
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department along with Abigail Cecilia.
Jim Shaw, attorney at Lather.
Okay, I think Ms. Walker represents Ms. Coates. What is the status of service on Ms. Coates?
Your Honor, that was returned unserved on January 16th, and I believe they made an appearance and waived service at the adversary hearing, if I recall correctly.
We have a Ms. Coates here in the room. Kristen Coates.
Do we have Mr. Welch served? He was in jail the day of the adversary hearing.
Yes, ma'am. He was served on February 7th, 2024, obviously. And he actually has filed and what I guess we call an answer with the court. It's handwritten. I happened to see it when I was looking to see if we'd got him served, but
what does the answer say?
Basically, it's basically that he is does not want to give away or lose his rights. He's willing to do any classes, counseling, and looks forward to being part of the process in the best way possible.
Okay. I ordered a paternity test on him at the adversary hearing. Have we done that yet?
Judge, we had not. I was waiting to get him served before we got that underway, just so the court would have jurisdiction. But we are asking. Of course, we want to get him tested. I spoke with a representative of the Indian tribe, of which his family is. I guess some of them are members. I think they're working on his registration, but the lady from the tribe indicated that they would require a paternity test and not just an adjudication on an admission in order to establish eligibility for membership. I don't know, I may need to have my head examined for trying to get ICWA involved in this case as well, but we will ask, or we'll send you a paternity order for him, a testing order for him.
Okay. What is the status of placement? Where's Carson?
Carson is placed with Mr. Welch's cousin. Home study has been approved.
Okay. Where does the cousin live?
In Lubbock, Texas.
How is Carson doing?
He's doing good. He has a heart murmur, but other than that, he has no other health concerns, and he likes to be held. And he has weekly visits with his mom on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay. I think Ms. Walker's trying to join us.
I could hear y'all, but it wouldn't let me unmute or change my camera. So I moved over to my phone. So I've heard everything going on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Ms. Walker, is your client in agreement with the current placement, the paternal cousin?
Miss McBroom, yes. I know that we wanted some more visitation time. We have reached out to St. Francis, and I don't think they could accommodate more time, but yes, we're happy to have Miss McBroom.
Okay. Mr. Shaw, any concerns with Carson?
Other than the medical issue, no, Your Honor.
All right, let's talk about that medical issue a little bit. Ms. Cecilia, do we think that the doctors are thinking that heart murmur is going to heal on its own, or are we looking at surgery?
He's going to go to another specialist, and he hasn't had that appointment yet with that specialist.
Okay.
I know placement's wanting to do a heart monitor, but the doctor, it's not from the doctor. They have SIDS in their family on the paternal side. So she's just trying to be proactive about that. So that's why she wants him to have a heart monitor at night.
Okay. Well, certainly at these doctor's appointments involve the parents. Make sure that they're invited to participate in the appointments and are educated about these medical issues with the baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have a question about that. Right now, St. Francis is wanting structured time with mom, and so is it the court's order that those medical appointments, just whenever they take place, that mom be able to attend?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Coates is allowed to attend doctor's appointments. But I agree that any visitation time needs to be on a schedule and structured. Is the current placement willing to supervise visits for Ms. Coates?
Yes, ma'am, they do. Right now, she's getting twice a week for 2 hours. I did speak to placement to see if there's any way we could accommodate any more time. Placement does work full-time as well as the other adult living in the home. So as of right now, they're not able to accommodate any more time. But on March 1st, Mrs. Coates' mother's going to be in Lubbock. And so she is going to get a third visit this week to accommodate that.
Great. Okay. Anything else regarding the child?
Nothing further unless Ms. Coates wants to add on anything.
Nothing that I can think of right now. I've had previous concerns whenever he was with Foster in Seminole, but now that he's with Jackie, he's looking a lot better and a lot healthier, and he's doing a lot better than he was when he was in Seminole.
Okay, very good. When did we make that placement?
On 2/1, he was moved.
Yes,
Right.
whenever I had gone to one of the visits, he had like pus and like crust behind his ears, and he smelled really bad, and I kind of freaked out, and they made placement come from Seminole to take him to the doctor right away, and he had impetigo and a double ear infection, and I was just really upset because if I had my son like that, there would be like emergency removal like for neglect, and I don't know, I have pictures of how he looked whenever he was with them, and he was not being taken care of like the way Jackie's taking care of him now. So I'm thankful that Jackie is able to help me out and take care of him.
Okay. All right, very good. Tell me about Ms. Coates' plan of service. What are we asking Ms. Coates to do in this case as far as a plan of service?
We're asking her to refrain from any criminal activity, obtain a legal source of income, which recently she did just get a job. We're asking her to maintain stable housing, to complete 12 hours of parenting, and she did complete those 12 hours of parenting. We're asking her to schedule visits with Carson, and she's been to all those visits. We're asking her to refrain from any drug use. 122, she had a negative UA, and then on 122, she had a positive hair. She was positive for meth. And then on 213, she had another negative UA. We are asking her to complete a OSAR. We're asking her to complete therapy and any recommendations since she is currently in therapy. We're asking her to have monthly face-to-face with the permanency specialist, which she is doing. And we are asking her to be in a women's group, and we're working on finding her a women's group that will work with her schedule.
Ms. Walker, any issues with that plan of service?
Your Honor, just to add to this, as this court knows, we can have parents that have, stopped use, but it takes some time for it to get out of the hair follicle. I think that's what the UAs show. There has been some difficulty with the face-to-face each month because Ms. Coates is living with paternal family members, and we're working on that issue about, having CPS at the house more, but it's not that they don't want to work services. It's just people that are outside of this case aren't receptive to having a bunch of CPS contact. But I have talked to my client about the importance of that, and we are addressing it within her home, or we'll look at different living situation.
Okay. I'll approve the plan of service for Ms. Coates. Ms. Walker, anything to add as far as what your client is already participating in?
She's going through services, and I think is making very good progress at a pretty fast pace because she's excited to get the baby back home.
Okay, very good, Ms. Coates. Good start. Okay, what about Mr. Welch's plan? Establish paternity and then what?
We are asking him to complete any services that the facility would offer, and we're also asking him to complete parenting classes, and he has completed parenting packets, and he has completed 2 parenting packets. And then once he's released, we're asking him to make contact with me.
I will approve Mr. Welch's plan of service, and I will also appoint him an attorney so that we can make sure that he is well represented the rest of the case. Okay, Mr. Tyree, as far as the Indian tribe in the case, since we're placed with a paternal relative at this point, I'm assuming the tribe would be okay with that if we come back and the paternity says he's dad. Do we know if they would agree with that placement?
I believe they would, Your Honor. I did mention that fact too, and I can't think of her name right now, but the lady from the tribe that I spoke with, and she was encouraged by that. So, and basically they're just waiting to, I guess, to get Mr. Welch's paperwork completed, and then of course see what the paternity test says, so they can decide what they want to do. But she did seem to be satisfied with the fact that we have the child placed with a paternal relative.
Okay, and did they say whether or not they're going to plan to intervene if, in fact, the paternity test comes back positive?
She did not say that. I'm sorry, she did not say that for sure, Your Honor.
Okay, and this is the Potawatomi tribe that we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. We've had one prior case with them, and I don't believe they intervened in that one, but they were actively involved, more so than any other tribe I've ever dealt with, so, which is nice, but.
I think it's awesome when the tribes get involved. I deal with the Cherokees a lot, and they're fabulous with helping with services and ways to maintain culture and ways to make sure the kids understand their heritage and parents understand the heritage behind that. I think it's awesome. Certainly want to encourage all the involvement that they want. Okay. Anything else for Carson?
Not at this time.
Do you have anything else?
Okay, I'm going to set this for an initial permanency hearing, June the 26th at 9. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, along with Wendy Kate.
Alicia Walker present for the parents. And we're getting a lot of feedback. I don't know if you're hearing it on your end.
Jim Shaw, attorney at Lauderdale.
Okay, Mr. Tyree, what is the status of service on Ms. Welch and Mr. Alzando?
Your Honor, I don't have that written down. I can't tell you. I don't have that written in my folder, and I thought I had that in all my notes for today, but I don't. I believe they were both served.
Okay, I do know they were both present at the contested hearing on the department's motion in January. Okay, tell me, the plan at that time was for these parents to have a session with Mr. Gatlin about drug use, and then we kind of go from there based on Mr. Gatlin's recommendations. And it really all boils down to whether or not he thinks there's any progress with these parents learning the problem with drug use. So tell me, how far have we gotten, and what is Mr. Gatlin saying about that?
Hello. So apparently Mr. Gatlin does not do online substance abuse groups. He just does online counseling. So because of that, we had to redirect them to daily recovery services out of Amarillo. And she did do a initial intake with them, and neither Connor or Carrie qualified, but they were referred over to Padre out of Lubbock from Star Care. The conversation that I had with Carrie, she says that they do not want to do that, that they were ordered to do the class with Gatlin. And because obviously we couldn't do that, that's why they were referred over to daily recovery.
Ms. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. My client did participate as this court ordered. They did the initial intake. They didn't qualify for services. There were no additional services ordered. And at this time, they are wanting to conclude the case.
Mr. Tyree?
Your Honor, we have a little bit of I think a difference of opinion between myself and Ms. Walker about what the court's order was, and my notes reflected that, and obviously as Ms. Kate said, Richard Gatlin wasn't available, but that they would be referred to his online substance abuse program. And I had that they would do as many sessions as possible between the initial hearing, which was on January 10th, and now Ms. Walker and her clients understood that was supposed to be a one-time event, and then to make a decision. So, and I had that we were going to get the recommendations from the provider and go from there. So,
yes, I ordered 1 month of virtual therapy with Mr. Gatlin. Not just one session, but 1 month of virtual therapy with Mr. Gatlin. Since that wasn't able to be set up, I'm going to order in-person therapy with Mr. Gatlin for 1 month. And I'll set it for another hearing. And if we're back here again, hopefully next month, Mr. Gatlin will give us a recommendation on whether or not it's worth it to try to get these parents to understand the problems with drug use and parenting. If not, Mr. Tyree, I certainly would encourage you to visit with your folks about other options in the case, which are probably going to be worse for the parents. Next review hearing will be March the 27th at 9. Mr. Alzando, you and Ms. Welch really need to wake up. You need to go to Mr. Gatlin, and you need to learn what he has to say about drug use and parenting. You need to do it this month, or you may lose your kids. Do you get that?
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
we have nothing else to say, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
We'll be adjourned.
Your Honor, Jim Tyree for the department, along with Veronica Ramirez.
Jim Shaw representing the parents, and the parents are present, Your Honor.
Cynthia Terso representing Liam, present and ready.
Mr. Tyree, what is the status of service on the parents?
Your Honor, Ms. Meadows was served on January 5th, and as was Mr. Laralde.
Okay, tell me about Liam. Where is Liam currently placed?
Your Honor, Liam's currently placed with paternal grandparents.
How is he doing in that home?
Your Honor, Liam was discharged from Covenant's Children's Hospital on 2/2 and was placed with paternal grandparents. They did have to watch some videos to learn how to put in a car seat and remove a car seat. He was eating, sleeping good. There were no concerns. On 1/22, the grandparents took Liam for a wellness check. Grandparents had concerns of a stuffy nose and trouble breathing. So the doctor did observe that and check him for that. Both placement and doctor observed skin color was starting to change during the visit. Blood work was taken and it was determined that he needed to go to the ER at Covenant Children's Hospital. On 2/26, he was having trouble breathing. He had a setback. He was on 0.3 liters of oxygen, but his breathing started working faster, so they had to up it. And right now he's at the max due to his weight. He's doing better. His eating, he's feeding through a tube. They don't want to give him nothing by mouth due to his breathing. He did have severe retractions around the ribs and the stomach due to the trouble of breathing. Those will, run its course and go away on its own. And before he can be discharged, he will need to be eating by mouth and not be on oxygen. He was also tested and came back with 2 viruses. Forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, endovirus and hip virus, and those will run its course.
Okay, does the doctor think that these are normal complications for a preemie, or are they something a little more serious than that?
Normal complications due to being a preemie. He was in daycare. From my understanding, he could have, got sick from other children that were sick.
Okay, knowing that, is there a possibility of maybe not? Jim, I'm gonna mute you for a second. Okay, knowing that, is there a possibility that we can avoid daycare?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. When the child does return back to grandparents, grandma will take time from daycare to stay with the child.
Okay, great. Do we have an approved home study on the grandparents?
We do. It was approved on 2/1.
Okay, and I'm assuming when we get home, we're gonna get an ECI evaluation and a lot of services probably for this little baby.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Terso, any additional concerns regarding the baby?
No, Your Honor. I did speak with the grandparents last week before he fell ill. They seem to care for him quite a bit, and they're very happy that he is there. Like Ms. Ramirez, I honestly think a lot of this stuff is just the season that we're in with cold and flu and all sorts of viruses floating around. And him being born so premature, it doesn't necessarily make things any easier for him, especially when he gets sick.
Right. All right, Mr. Laralde, can y'all unmute? Do you folks have any additional concerns regarding the baby?
Okay, so for the record, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to let the record show that I'm here as a friend of the courts, and I understand the judge's role in these hearings to decide whether or to consider the facts arising from the evidence presented in this case and to ensure the fairness to our constitutional rights. At this moment, I am asking the judge to consider a dismissal of this case due to the findings of CPS. CPS has sent us a letter saying that they were unable to determine, which means insufficient information that was concluded whether we did or did not neglect this child. Therefore, the complaint did not constitute any abuse or neglect, and the complaint fails to state any cause of action. So I'm asking the court to consider dismissing this case due to those facts. I still have been, I did my counseling yesterday. Shannon's got her counseling tomorrow. And we are still willing to do that part of the deal just to help us better ourselves. I'm not asking right now at this moment due to renovations that I've been doing to this house that we're in. I'm not asking that we, but I am asking, I'm not asking that Liam come home right now at this moment, but I am asking that we get our visitations lifted where we can be there right now at the hospital with him instead of having to go through all this nonsense of, only at first when it started off, we only had one a week after the judge had told us that as much as possible, we had one visit on Fridays, and then it went to 2, and now it's at 3. But still, it's like it just not. If there's no evidence against us that we did anything wrong, is why we should continue with this. But we are still willing to continue to do the counseling because I talked to Richard Gatlin, and we had a pretty good conversation, and I feel like that's something that I would like to still keep going. Doing. And then, like I said, Shannon's got hers tomorrow. She's doing her own thing with First Care. They've got people calling. She's got quite a bit of appointments set up with people that have been through the stuff that we've been through, not someone who can tell me that we know what you're doing, but they've never been through it. She's actually getting people calling her, telling her that have been through it and know what she's going through. Right now, after losing our son last year, due to RSV, and now this one is going on this year, and we can't be there. It's really takes a toll on a person, And this is why I feel like if we could just get a visitation with her, where we could be there with the baby, and she could be a mother to the baby that she's supposed to be, and that's what we're asking for.
Okay, your motion to dismiss is denied. I heard a contested hearing in this case on January the 10th. Heard plenty of evidence that justifies this baby being in care. Heard plenty of evidence that suggests that you folks need to work services before you get this baby back. Now, Ms. Ramirez, tell me what is on the parents' plan of service.
Yes, ma'am. We are asking for Ms. Meadows to obtain and maintain legal income for the minimum of 6 months and provide verification to the department. We are asking Ms. Meadows to complete an OZAR and follow recommendations. We are asking Ms. Meadows to participate in individual where parenting will be addressed and follow any recommendations. We are asking Ms. Meadows to maintain a drug-free lifestyle. We're asking Ms. Meadows to participate in visitation with her child. We're asking Ms. Meadows to have face-to-face contact with the department monthly. We are asking Ms. Meadows to obtain and maintain a safe and stable housing for the minimum of 6 months. We're asking Ms. Meadows to refrain from any criminal activity.
Mr. Shaw, any issues with that plan of service?
Judge, we would ask that all of the issues that are going to be worked on to be dealt with the as indicated by the dad through the therapist. They have limited contact, and so that we're asking that they be able to just go through the therapist for their issues.
I'll think about that here in just a second because we haven't talked about Dad's plan of service. Tell me about Dad's plan of service.
We're asking Mr. Larade to obtain and maintain legal income for a minimum of 6 months and provide verification to the department. We're asking Mr. Larade to submit to random drug testing and maintain a drug-free lifestyle. We're asking Mr. Larade to complete an OZAR and follow recommendations. We are asking Mr. Larade to participate in the Firehood Fire Program, We're asking Mr. Larade to participate in individual counseling and follow recommendations. We're asking Mr. Larade to participate in visitation with his child. We're asking Mr. Larade to have contact with the department monthly. We're asking Mr. Larade to obtain and maintain safe and stable housing for a minimum of 6 months. We're asking Mr. Larade to refrain from any criminal activity.
Okay, with respect to Mr. Laraldi's plan of service, I agree. Most of that can be addressed in counseling with Mr. Gatlin, and sounds like they've already started on that and got off to a good rapport with Mr. Gatlin, so that's good. Certainly, if Mr. Gatlin goes through the therapy with Mr. Laraldi and recommends any additional services that Mr. Laraldi might need, let's add those to the plan of service. But the visits, the safe and stable house and income, all of that needs to be on the plan of service, obviously, and maintain contact, all of that. But as far as the actual service, let's just start with counseling and then go from there. But I will approve the mother's plan of service as you stated. All right, Mr. Shaw, anything to add as far as what your clients have started on in services?
No, Your Honor. They do have an issue with the visits, but that's it.
Okay, what's the issue with the visits?
The court last time that we were here indicated that the parents could have maximum contact with the child while the child was at the hospital. But in turn, it was restricted. They were before able to watch the videos of the child and have unsupervised contact with the child. And now that's all turned around. They're getting very limited contact with the child.
Certainly, while the child is in the hospital, I am fine with the parents visiting whenever they would like. I just, as long as the hospital workers are okay with that, certainly, especially if the baby is in ICU. I understand there's probably visiting hours, but whatever the hospital is okay with, I'm okay with as far as parents' visitation there. I'm fine with the relative supervising the parents' visits, but I do think it needs to be on a schedule that the department is aware of.
Your Honor, the parents are getting visitations Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 6 to 8 o'clock.
Great. Okay, I'm going to set this for an initial permanency hearing June the 26th at 9 a.m.
Your Honor, before we go, may I ask something?
Sure.
Can we get a court order? If I'm out of line, please let me know. A court order for drug testing. I have sent both parents to do a UA and hair follicle for the month of 1/16 of 2024 and then 2/12 of 2024, and they've both been refused.
Okay, yes, I will order a hair strand and a UA to be done by 3 o'clock today. Both parents.
Thank you.
We were told to go to, she gave it to us on the 30th. We only have 1 day to get there. That was on that master. That's why she never sent it.
Both of you are ordered to do a hair strand and a UA by 3 o'clock today. Okay, initial permanency hearing June the 26th at 9 a.m. Anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
That's all we have, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll be adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.